Hello and welcome for this completely improvised video, unscripted, hot take on Muslims who are now cancelling Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate. And while they were the first trying to quote them and to give them a platform, which is, mind-puzzling to say the least. So if you're late to the party, Jordan Peterson has been violently cancelled because of a tweet of his advocating the massacre of civilians in Gaza, which is just inadmissible. And then you may have seen the video of Five Pillars UK about Andrew Tate's kind of neutral stance, which is not really neutral.
To me, it's all just a huge psyop.
Andrew Tate mentioned that he believes that there are no good guys and bad guys. It doesn't matter if you're Andrew Tate or Khabib or a layman on the road. If you do not know enough about a subject matter, it is unwise to comment on it publicly.
And his association with how they named it, the Zionist sorcerer, which provoked the ire of so many Muslims. Without excusing him, many people, and including myself, we've been in a place where we didn't have the knowledge to make an informed opinion, and we were in places where the only information we had was what transpired through the media. But calling it a psyop is dismissing it as a non-event. It doesn't make sense. It's actually very insulting for the people who are dying on location. And I think he should have had the humility to say that not only he doesn't know much, and he will read and consult people before forming an opinion, and the ties with this extremist who publicly called for the genocide of civilians is just not admissible. While Jordan Peterson spoke out of pure malice, I think it's not someone who he clearly takes a side. But my frustration comes from the fact that why did it have to come to that point for these people to be cancelled? Why was Jordan Peterson not cancelled from the moment where he was saying his things which are not based on any scientific evidence? Why was Andrew Tate not cancelled, or at least treated with caution, when he pursued his war room business, encouraging young men to pimp and taking advantage of vulnerable young men in search of relationships and financial stability? Everyone was trying to get them on every single Muslimic podcast, YouTube channel, and social media. It's very, very rarely people took their distances and just decided to wait and see, or clearly saw it coming that these people are dodgy. So if you know Five Pillars UK, I have to give it to them that they did not invite Andrew Tate or Peterson on any of their podcasts while they had the power to do so, while everyone else was treating them as a prophet-like figure, Mahdi-like figure, almost like idols, as examples of success, of what Muslims should do. So I understand that when it comes to Muslims in Europe and North America, again, sorry for the generalization, but a lot of Muslims come from a background for which for generations, they have been deprived from financial stability, from media visibility, from political representation. And when we see these kind of figures talking with Muslims, engaging on topics around Islam, or embracing Islam, people consider them as symbolic bridges between Islam and the West, between Muslims and the West. So people subconsciously see them as providential saviors, that these are going to be the ambassadors for Islam and Muslims. They're going to make our situation better. We're going to listen to what they're saying so we can have the financial stability we never had, the media visibility we never had, or the political representation. And also because our society equates success and happiness with money, power, and fame, and doesn't give people the time to stop and reflect. Look, what these people are doing, this is not success. These guys do not sell us any kind of liberation or freedom. They're just swapping our iron chains with gold-plated ones. They have been selling enslavement to money and power and fame and all these worldly concepts. Of course, some of the things they are saying is true, and this is, a very known technique. If you want to appeal to crowds, sell them some, quick fix remedies. Just sell them some platitudes, some generalities, where you just sprinkle a little bit of truth, just enough for people to believe, and then just, people are going to buy it, even if 99% of what we're saying is crap and not based on any scientific evidence. We need to cultivate critical thinking skills. When someone says A, B, or C, we should be able to understand why are they saying A, B, and C. What's the agenda? What's their intention? What has informed their decisions? What are the consequences of what they're saying? Jordan Peterson is not better than any of these online self-help gurus. Because again, there's a branding exercise, there's a business model behind that. But what we see is nothing new. I had already some contentions when, remember back in the 2010s, all these young girls asking for religious advice to people like Dina Tokyo or Amina Khan, who are just, they're not scholars, they are lifestyle influencers. And people were asking them religious advice. Usually when people access to fame, to wealth or power very suddenly, very quickly, to me it always has been a red flag. The other thing with trends is that they're not here to last. So today it has come, it saddens me that why it didn't come earlier. And until we are able not to get attached to these kind of figures, we will never get anywhere. As long as we understand liberation to be with fame, money, and power, we'll never get anywhere. Not relying on these providential saviors to do anything, because they're not changing anything. Why did Islamophobia in France not stop after Zinedine Zidane scored for the World Cup? They're a very convenient symbol at a very precise time in a very specific space, but again, they are just symbols. They are not forces for change. Change is going to happen when people acquire the tools, the skills, the experience to think critically and to make very rational and strategic decisions. It's not going to come by listening to whatever idol who has just embraced Islam is going to say. They are not oracles, they are not prophets. Instead of waiting for the next idol to come, why don't we start saying that, no, I'm going to become that person who's going to be an example for the next generations. I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to be the best I can for myself and the people around me. And this is what a Khalifa, a steward, should be. While we have been colonized by this binary leaders and followers, we're waiting for leaders to come. And if some of us become leaders, then it's all about themselves. And I understand that people are trapped, that, so many people who are doing social media do it often as a business. And what does it mean to create for social media as a business? It's creating content according to what your audience wants to see and hear. Or, in a different case, it is creating content according to what your sponsors want to see and hear. So you're never free, and you always have strings attached. And this is why, inshallah, this channel is never going to be monetized. And I'm aware this is a luxury, because I can just make a video just like that, and whether it is one person for whom it is useful, or 5 people or 500, I really don't care, because, even if you save one person, it's as if you have saved the whole of humanity. Even if it's useful for one person, my mission is accomplished. I'm not bound to results, contrary to some others who have to get more followers, who have to get more view time, who have to boost their engagement rates to get more money and be able to produce more. And this is the trap many, many very talented Muslims fall into, is when they undertake social media as a business, they lose their freedom, they lose their creativity. Because, I made this video about Muhammad Hijab. Why is his educational content, his charitable content doesn't get as many views as these very nonsensical debates? It's because, dopamine hits. People respond more to that than to knowledge, to wisdom, to these kind of things. And because audiences do that, and because audiences demand this kind of content, I'm sure some people like Muhammad Hijab, they work only 50% of their potential, because people don't want to hear the deep and meaningful things. People just want to see the entertainment, the spectacle, panem et circenses, the bread and games. And this is what Roman emperors would do to, just control people by entertainment. It is now our responsibility to show the example. And until we understand that, we're not going to get anywhere. Until we ask ourselves at what every word we say, every action we do, every decision we make, are we making this world a better place or not? Are we the better versions of ourselves and the better for those around us? Until we are able to set boundaries. Even if one person is the richest on earth, or the most famous on earth, or the most powerful on earth, if that person is not making this world a better place, if this person has very skewed techniques and behaviors and a skewed mindset, we should be able to say, no, I don't want anything to do and to learn from that person. Because there's always going to be the next Andrew Tate, the next Jordan Peterson, the next Pearl Daisy, the next Dina Tokyo, and so on. But until we get critical thinking skills, they are still going to have power over us. Well, the only power we should have over us is the power of God. These people are not going to help us pay our bills. They are in business for their own pockets. So until we adopt this Khilafah mentality, this stewardship mentality, we're not going to go anywhere. And this is, I think, the key message I want to share. So in the meantime, again, take care of yourselves and each other.